So today we are in my 2014 BMW i3, and I'm going to try and demonstrate one of the interesting, unique quirks that happens with these vehicles. We're going to demonstrate the low power or reduced power mode, and it's easiest for me to do on a cold morning with no battery. So here we go. These blue bars right here represent how much amps or how many amperes I have available to draw out of the battery based on its current state. That is charge state and temperature state. So let's get started. The current temperature outside, according to the BMW, is 9 degrees. And the current battery state is 8.5%. In order to induce the reduced power mode, I am going to turn on the heater. It is 9 degrees outside, or 6 degrees, whatever it is. And a little bit of heat I will need anyways to keep the windshield clear. Sometimes I will try to avoid running the heater and crack the window a little bit, but it's just a little bit too cold right now for that to even work. And so I will be in need of some hot air on the windshield. So I'm turning that on now. Just driving up the driveway. We're at 8% battery, and the generator is on. The range extender is on. It automatically turns on because the battery is so low to start with. Okay, we're down to 7.5% already, and we're not even out of the driveway. I'm going to stop here at the top of the driveway just to show the numbers again. All right, so 7% now, top of the driveway. All right, I want to kind of be pretty safe. I don't want to be driving and holding that too much. I'll probably have to pull over to show percentages and stuff. We're already down to 6.5%. The engine is running, but because the batteries are cold and below freezing, it will not charge the batteries right now. What it's doing is it's using energy, it's running the generator to make enough energy for me to drive, and it's using the energy to heat up the batteries in order to charge them in the future, and it's using the generator energy to run the heater to get the windshield defrosted. Okay, we're down to 6% already. Currently going 35 miles per hour. Down to 5.5%. Down to 5%. I was going up a hill and accelerating. Normally when it gets this cold out, I won't drive the car. Down to 4.5%. Specifically because of this reason, unless I have a certain percentage of battery, maybe around 20%, because it just takes that much battery and that much time for the generator in the back to warm up the car batteries enough for it to function normally. So what's happening right now is that the batteries are too cold again, and the car will not allow the generator to charge the batteries or put energy into the batteries in fear that it will wreck them or damage them. We're down to 4%. I've barely gone a mile. We're down to, I just want to be careful and show this. We're down to, if you see the blue bars, we're down to only 2 blue bars. It's representing about half as many amperes that it'll let me draw out of the batteries now compared to just a mile or two ago. We're down to 3.5%. Let me get it switched back around and So you can see this is going to be fairly easy to demonstrate. Pretty soon I'm going to start to get some warnings. It'll say reduce power possible down to 3%. I think when we get down to 2.5%, it'll say that. If possible here, I'll pull over to make it nice and safe. Again, I'm only driving around 40 miles an hour at this point. And most likely to show you guys what's going to happen, I'll probably have to pull over at some point just to let it recharge a little bit. Okay, we're down to 2.5%. At about 2%, I think it's going to tell me that reduced power is possible, warning me that the battery is so low that it's going to limit me even more. I still have 2 bars. Oh, so let me switch it around. Here's the first warning that I've gotten. It says low battery power reduction possible. Okay, we're down to 2%. I've still got my heater running. Still got the heater running because the windshield isn't quite clear yet. When we get down to a 0.5%, I'll probably shut it off just to be a little bit safe. I don't typically do this. I've had this happen to me a couple times out of either forgetfulness to drive the car when I shouldn't have, or out of need. And so I'm kind of familiar with what's going to happen. That's why I feel comfortable doing this. Okay, we're down to 1.5% now. Still have 2 bars of amperes available to us. And I do now have some traffic behind me, so I may find a spot to pull over just to let them go by, because I am predicting that I will have reduced speed here and will not be able to travel at full highway speeds, and I don't want to cause any incidents, and I don't want to have to I don't want to pick up the camera while they're around me. So I'm going to find a place to pull over here. We are down now to 1%. Okay, we're down to 1% battery there. We still have 2 bars, which that's going to go down to 1 bar here shortly when this gets to 0.5%. All right, and I think we're clear behind us now. When I get down to 0.5%, I am going to shut off the heater. Okay, we just hit 0.5%. Just that the energy just caused to get to going again, and we are down to only 1 ampere now. So that is as low as it'll go. I'm going to turn off the heater. Okay, heater's off. I can see now. And so this is all the power we have. Now, fortunately, we're going down a hill, so we're able to get going. But this is it. I mean, I could floor it right now and it won't do anything. We are at reduced power. You can see the engine is still running by this white triangle here that indicates that the engine is running. But we only have 0.5% of battery life. We're going to slow down here now going up this hill because we have no power. Okay, we're reaching the top of the hill. And we're going to slowly speed up now as we crest over the hill. Again, I have it floored right now. There's just nothing the car can do. My breath is actually slowly fogging up the windshield again. So I might have to, I'm going to crack the window just a smidge to try and get some of my breath out, because I don't think I would even have the battery now to turn on the windshield heater. All right, and so this is a state we're pretty much stuck in. I think at this battery state, it won't let me even turn on the heater. As far as running it here, I'm going to turn you back around because we're going up a pretty big hill, and we're going to slow down here quite drastically. So we're actually going uphill pretty good right now. It's hard to tell. But I have the accelerator floored. There is no one behind us. I'm gonna kind of get over here to the side of the road just a little bit in case someone does come. But the accelerator is floored. If I recall, when this happened before, there is just enough to keep us going, or keep us moving. We're almost to the top of the hill, maybe another 40 yards. I'm checking my mirrors, making sure there's no one behind us. If there were someone to come up behind us, I would get off the road completely, because this is a little bit dangerous. So just enough power up this hill to keep us moving at 8 miles an hour. Again, the accelerator is all the way down. Cresting the hill just a little bit. And now we're getting going again. We're 18 miles an hour. We're still at 0.5% of battery. So this is the reduced power situation that a lot of people have complained about this car. It can happen in various situations. It can happen on the freeway if you're driving fast enough with the heater on or the air conditioner on. If the wind is blowing against you at the freeway, that makes a big effect as well. It kind of depends on the state of your battery to start with. And if it's cold out, that makes a big difference as well. And so I was able to duplicate this because I've gone through this a couple times with the cold. I try to avoid this. This isn't a whole lot of fun. It's a little bit scary, and if you're trying to get somewhere with a purpose, it's not gonna happen. You have to plan ahead if you're gonna try and do this, because here we go, we're going up a hill again and we're slowing down. So what's gonna happen is eventually the car is right now, what it's doing is it's heating up the batteries. So they have heating pads in between all the battery cells, and it's using some of the energy from the generator, the onboard generator, to heat those pads up and to heat the cells. And what's going to happen is slowly those cells are going to heat up, and once they get up to a certain level, the car will sense that it is safe to charge the batteries, and it will increase the speed of the generator to add more charge into the batteries. And so right now it's probably barely charging the batteries. Okay, so I'm kind of going up a hill again, and I've got traffic coming up behind me slowly. So I'm sorry, I have to be a little bit more safe here. I don't think I'm going to make it to the top of the hill before they get here. Got my hazards on now. I'm trying to get off the road basically as far as possible while they're coming. Once they get here, I will get all the way off. Apologize. What is going to happen is that the batteries are going to get warmed up, and the car will begin charging, and it will charge at a rate faster than I'm using it. And by the time I get to where I'm going this morning, I will be back up to the percentage that we started with, the 8.5%. It's going to take me longer to get to where I was going because I'm driving much slower right now due to the reduced power, but I will get there, and it will be back up to 8.5%. As long as I drive long enough. If I were to shut the car off right now, it would actually be a pretty bad thing, because I'm down to only 0.5% battery, and it's not good to leave the battery that low of a percentage. Though the BMW has already put in some safety margins at the edges. You only actually use about 80% of your battery to start with. It doesn't let you use the lowest 10%. It doesn't let you use the highest 10%. And they did that because this car is already 8 years old. And they did that back then to try and make sure that their batteries would last as long as they said it would, because they put a warranty out on their batteries. All right, we went through a stop sign, and went down a little hill. We're actually going 42 miles an hour. We're still at 0.5%. I'm assuming it's still very cold out. I'm expecting here pretty soon for the battery to warm itself up, and we'll hopefully, at least I'll be able to hear it. I don't know if we'll hear it on the camera, but we'll be able to hear the engines increases its RPMs, its revolutions per minute, and then I will know that it's charging, and we can watch the battery state of charge come back up. Okay, so it just happened. We can see now, I was even going uphill. We're up to 1% now. We were able to go a little bit faster. I'm activating the cruise control. That's another quirk. I'm in eco mode right now, and it doesn't allow me to go above a certain speed that's preset if I have the cruise off. If I turn the cruise on, it eliminates that. Sorry, I'm kind of predicting. I'm trying to not really watch the camera here too much. I think going down this hill here, we might get another 0.5%. It looks like that happened. We're gonna go back up a hill. Hopefully it holds it up the hill. And you can see that we now have 2 blue bars, representing that we have more amperage available to us in the battery. We have 2 blue bars. And as the battery voltage increases, as we have more percentage of battery available to us, those blue bars will increase as well. All right, so let's get it back around here. I need to drive right now with the sun in my face. In a few minutes here, I'll be turning a different direction, and the sun won't be in my face, and maybe we'll get a little bit better at cameras. I'll keep saying what the battery percentage is at. We're still at 1.5%. So again, what's happened now is that the generator has been running long enough and used that energy enough to heat up the batteries so that they are now close to or above freezing. And so the car is now allowing, or has removed the safety precautions of not letting the battery be charged below freezing. I'm going to actually turn back on the heater here. Okay, we just went up to 2%. And even though it's saying I have reduced power of the amperes from the battery, I feel like I have quite a bit more power available on the accelerator, a lot more response. And I think that's simply because the 2 bars are all what I can draw from the battery, but I could draw more from the generator right now because it's running faster. So the car is responding much more like normal now. It doesn't even really feel like it's in reduced power mode, even though I can still kind of clearly see that it is. We're only at 2% battery right now. We're going 50 miles an hour, and we are going up a hill. And I was able to push the accelerator all the way down, and we even accelerated up the hill. So there's definitely quite a lot more power available now that the generator is allowed to run at a higher RPM and make more power to go to the battery. And fortunately, I don't have any traffic around me right now, so I can drive just a little bit slower and be a little bit safe with what's going on and recording this. Okay, we crested a hill. We're going over 55 now. I'm going to let off the accelerator and kind of coast and hopefully see. Yep, so let me turn this around. So we're up to 2.5% now. Hopefully the camera will focus on that. 2.5%, kind of coasted down a hill. Okay, I'm going to set that back down. I'm going to be turning here in a minute. No traffic still. So obviously the fuel economy of this car is pretty good when it's nice weather. When it's cold like this and you're having to heat the batteries up and do this kind of extraordinary driving with this vehicle, which it really wasn't intended to do, it does use quite a lot of fuel compared to what it normally does. And so our economy isn't that great right now compared to just a normal gasoline vehicle that would be heating your car on the inside for you anyways. So I was running the heater on the windshield just to see, and I can clearly tell that even though the fan is running to blow cold air at the windshield so I can keep it from fogging up, there is no heat to it. So the car, even at this is percentage of battery in this reduced power state that we're still in, is not allowing it to run the heater coils, the electric heating coils, to heat up the wind. But it is allowing the fan to turn to keep the air blowing on it, you know, just like you'd have a fan in an old style bus that would blow wind across the windshield to keep it from fogging up. So that's what it's allowing me to do, but it is not actively heating that air that is blowing across the windshield. So that is also one of the things that it removes from your access when you are in reduced power mode. We were up to 3% for just a moment. I sped back up and went up a hill after I changed directions, and we're back down to 2.5, but I do predict that that will rise higher here in a moment. Yep, 3%. We still only have 2 bars of battery amperage available to us. If I recall correctly, we have to get back up around about 5% of state of charge battery before that will adjust itself. And I imagine that's when we'll have the heater available to us as well. Again, I still have the window cracked to allow some air circulation to help my breath from getting stuck to the windshield. And as needed, I will turn on the heater, which turns on the fan to keep that wind off of it. We just passed an Amish buggy. There are a fair number of Amish in our area, and it's kind of interesting driving by them. They like to look at this vehicle because it is a rather different kind of looking vehicle. Okay, we went up to 3.5%. Let's switch the camera around here again. So at this point, we are more than halfway to my destination, and I am hoping that by the time we get there, the battery is fully charged. If it is not, I will let the car run. I will sit in the car once I get to my destination to let the battery get at least above 5 or 6%. I would rather have all the way up to 8%. I like to make my battery last as long as possible and not have to pay the $8,000 to $10,000 to have replaced. Even though at this point, it'd probably be pretty good, because I think the battery they replaced it with is a much higher amp than the one that I currently have. So I'd actually get more range out of my car if I paid to have the battery replaced. So that is a plan, you know, in the extended future, if possible, to have them replace the battery in this once it no longer has an effective range, and I will essentially get a much larger range with the battery than I was accustomed to even when I first purchased it. My battery, because of the way I've taken care of it, has not lost any capacity since I purchased it more than 2 years ago. Actually almost 3 years ago now, 2.5 years ago. It has not lost any of its capacity the last time I checked it, which was just before we went into winter. It's not really a smart thing to check your battery in the winter, because it's going to be affected in the winter anyways by the cold temperatures. I could check it and it would probably still stay the same, but I just don't bother to check it in the winter. There's a few buttons you can push on the computer and get it to say the battery capacity it keeps track of. There was a warranty on it that ran out now, that if it, between 8 years from production and 100,000 miles, if the battery went below a certain capacity, they would replace it for free. But my battery has held the same capacity since I purchased it. We are up to 4%, by the way, now. My battery was not a very great battery when I purchased the car. It looked like it had been abused. Perhaps it had been supercharged too much. This is an older battery car. This car is 8 years old, and it wasn't really meant to be supercharged a whole lot, and it definitely wasn't meant to be kept with the battery at a very low state, which it was actually at when I purchased it. A lot of dealers that find these at auction and get them cheap, and they think, oh, this is a nice car, I'll be able to sell it, and they don't know how to keep it, and they don't even bother charging it while it's sitting on their lot. And so the battery could sit there for quite a while at a low state, and that will diminish your capacity. Okay, we're up to 4.5%. I expect to be able to turn on the heater here soon if I need to. Why don't I just let's turn it on and just see if we feel any heat coming from it, and then maybe we could watch it go. We could watch it turn on if or we can feel it start heating if we get up to 5% or whatever it needs to be here. Is there any heat there? Okay. Yeah, there's definitely some heat there now. I can't tell for sure if it's a diminished amount, but there is now heat that I have access available to me. We are at 4.5% state of charge with the battery, and we are still only at 2 bars of amperage available to us from the battery. Though again, like I said, I feel like the car has almost full driving power because the generator is running in the back there, and the car will draw that power instead of the battery power, even though it won't allow us to draw the power from the battery. Okay, we hit 5%. Oh, and then back down to 4.5 because I'm going around the corner and pushing on the accelerator a little bit. Maybe also because the heater's on. Just gonna run the heater long enough to clear the windshield, because we are starting to get a little bit close to my destination, and I would like this to have a higher percentage before we get there. Okay, so the heater's off. Kind of playing it here, trying to get to a decent percentage. A decent percentage to me would be 7 or 8. 8.5 would be perfect. I'd be totally happy with that. We are currently at 4.5%. I still only have 2 bars of amperes available to me from the battery. Though again, I can floor it and accelerate. So there is power there. There's no warnings about reduced power state. These other warnings are other things on the car that don't affect what we're talking about. All right, so I think that pretty much explains what you go through with this vehicle when you can go into reduced power mode. Again, this can happen, specifically for me, it happens in the cold when I don't have enough battery to start with as it's warming up. If I had 15 to 20% battery, by the time the engine warms up the battery, I would still be okay on my battery percentage, and it would just drive fairly normal. Again, it's okay to discharge a lithium iron phosphate battery when it's below freezing, but it is not okay to charge it. And if you charge it more than just a trickle, from what I've been told, that you can charge it a trickle, but if you charge it more than just a tiny bit, you can destroy the battery permanently by trying to charge it when it's below freezing. So you can drive the car if you had a full battery and it wouldn't affect it at all if it was below freezing until it warmed itself up, but you cannot charge it. And so what I need to do is because the battery's gone below the lowest amount that I want it to be at for its health, I need to drive it long enough with the generator running to bring that battery percentage back up to that safety margin. All right, so I'm going to finish my drive to my destination. When I get there, I will show you what percentage we're at and show you if I have to wait in the car until it gets back up to a percentage that I would like it to be at. Okay, so I have reached my destination. I have placed the car in park. I don't know if you can hear it on the camera, but the generator is still running in the back. And it is running because this white arrow right here, this triangle, indicates where the battery state should be held at, its lowest amount. And the blue bar indicates the percentage of battery. And because it is not up to the white triangle yet, it'll continue to run until it gets within 2.5% of that. So it'll probably run for another couple percent here, and I will check back with you then. Okay, so the generator did just shut off. It has gotten the battery up to 5%, and that's just all I can do. I can't tell it to turn back on and charge the battery. Okay, so this is one of the quirks about these BMW i3s. I'm not sure. I don't have any experience with the newer ones. Mine is a 2014. I have heard of other ones besides this year model having this situation, and I imagine most of them do, simply because you can't charge the battery for its safety when it's below freezing, and so they would all function this way. Also, if you're driving on the interstate into a headwind and you don't have any battery left, any state of charge left in your battery, and you're running the air conditioner or running the heater, it would also give you a reduced power possible warning like I received. And as you saw, it would simply bring down the amperage of the battery, and it doesn't do anything when you step on the accelerator. It also cuts off all the systems like the heater and things like that. The air conditioner would cut back. So that's what it does to protect the battery. So thanks for watching. That's that.